connection.
No problem. That's perfect. So just let you know that we are live on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So how are you doing, Monique?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm very, very good. Oh, is this your new place?
Yeah, it is. I still don't have a chair, still up on the ground.
Great.
But probably this weekend I'll get my chair back.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm used to the old place, so.
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, your last home.
My last one, or the house, or the apartment?
No, the apartment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just basically this, you know, the room, the kitchen. It's a very small place.
I understand that. My apartment will be like really cozy, really small.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be mine.
I mean, for me, it's enough, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So just let me just introduce TNT, because we are live on Facebook, and I just want to explain how it works for people. And basically, this is the 50th. I don't know how to say that. Maybe it's not correct, but we have been running the TNTs for a long time now, and it's a free open space up to 12 people to speak and put in practice the English language. It happens every Tuesday, same time, always 8 p.m. Brazilian time. And we have a team, we have a subject each Tuesday, and you can come just to watch or listen, or you can follow aprendi Facebook page. I'm posting it there, or on Instagram. It's gonna be there pretty soon. I'm doing like this. I'm with my phone, and then I stay up to the end of the talk, just recording it. Yeah, that's how it's work in the beginnings. I don't have a cameraman for that yet. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So it's all yours.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm really excited. How's everyone doing? Everyone okay? Okay. Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh, my mic is off. So yeah, I'm okay.
So I'm Monique, for those who don't know, and I'm really excited about today. I've been on TNT since like the first one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
The first one.
Yeah. This is the first one, so it's a big thing for me to be here tonight, talking like the hostess. Hi, someone new.
Who's there? Ah, Rogério.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. So, I was just saying that I'm really glad. Thank you, Phil, for inviting me.
And you're not here, you know.
Hi. What happened?
I don't know, but your picture is funny.
Oh, okay.
No.
So I'll try to reconnect.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, just a second, okay?
Okay. Yeah, it happens on the best families.
Yeah.
Yeah, your camera is not working. Yeah, her camera is not working. Nate, is it okay? The sound, it's all working? Yeah? Your microphone's not working though. Yeah, I can't hear you. Maybe, can you try to reconnect, do the same? Rogério is working?
No.
Oh, now it's working.
Yeah. It's working here.
Hi, can you see me? It's not working with my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great. No? I don't know, I just clicked on again. So, okay. So I really prepared myself for today. There are some, leaves here with a lot of things written down. It's just so I don't lose myself. But I hope everything is gonna do okay. So tonight I'm gonna bring you information about how sexism affects women's psychology and self-esteem. And then later, I brought some questions so we can discuss. And so, if you guys don't understand something I say, it's really important that you tell me so I can repeat. So we can discuss after.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's only my connection, but I can barely hear you. So make some noise, and I don't know if it's my connection or everybody's hearing the same sound.
No, it's working for me.
It's okay for me also.
Try
Okay for me too.
Try to reconnect, Nady, maybe, and put your earphones on. So when you reconnect, it might.
I did, but when I didn't work.
But put your earphones on and try to reconnect to the room. Do the same instructions there. Go to the app, setting URL, and the room. Try to do the same. Just disconnect.
Off and then on.
Yeah. Turn off and turn on. Reconnect. Yeah. She fall.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, maybe. Let's wait a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to start. I'm going to wait for her. Okay.
Yeah, she's coming back.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh.
First.
Yo, it's good, guys.
Yeah.
She's different.
We were expecting a girl.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
hi. How are you?
We're doing good. And about yourself?
Now, we're really excited tonight to start. How did you
Sure. Yeah.
made it?
I can be here. Just drop by to say hi. Half an hour.
Great.
Cool. So, I was just saying that I'm really glad to be here tonight. And I'm going to be talking about not only women's self-esteem, but how sexism affects it, and not just our self-esteem, but our psychology. So, and I can discuss after, okay? So if you guys don't understand anything I say, or, just ask me, okay?
Great. Yeah.
So, let's start without Nady, right?
Yeah, what?
Do you think I should start without her?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm just maybe she's trying to reconnect. I'm gonna send her a message here.
Okay.
Yeah, but no worries. Just keep going.
Okay, so I guess starting. So, I'll start from the beginning, from the very beginning. Sexism is present since the beginning in human evolution, There's not really a knowledge about when or how or where it started, but we do know that it's here since, prehistory, even though there are some evidence that at that point there were more equality than right now, in late modern period, but I didn't bring more facts about it, but it's here in our society since then, and what we do know about it is just some reasons that makes us stronger day by day and more natural to our society, like religion, for example. I think is one of the strongest reasons, So I got some, the Bible, for example, has a lot of extremely sexist verses. So I'm not going to judge, any beliefs or any faith. I'm just going to quote some small verses. Like, for example, in Timothy, when Paul advises about whether women are allowed to teach men in church. And he says, I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over men. She must be silent. And in Ephesians, it says, wives, submit to your husbands as to Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. So what I mean by reading those is just that our society was built in a religious base, There's a lot, even though there's a lot of religions, we basically built it, like colonization and everything. Oh, Nady? Can you hear us? Nady?
Nady, is it okay? Are you alive? Nady?
Nady?
Are you?
Hear us?
Yeah, maybe she's not.
Yeah, she's probably frozen.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, I'll continue.
Yeah, just go through.
Okay, so my point when I brought on religion is that our society was strongly built in religious basis. So even if a lot of people don't follow that anymore, it's really hard to be, get a society that's for a
Hi. Definitely my is bad.
Oh,
Everything okay?
Could you mute your microphone?
Yeah, maybe.
Nady?
Can you hear us?
There is a speaker icon where you can click. Should be maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to send a message on WhatsApp.
Okay. Right. So. Hi. Someone new. So, continuing.
Yes.
So, as I was saying before about religious space in our society, it's really hard for, you clean up a concept out of a society, whether it's really hostile or subconscious. Sexism still comes from all sides, so it makes it really hard to not be affected by it, even not in a strong way. Even men, we know that it affects men too. So, and of course, it depends on the place you live or your social circle and your family. It can be stronger or lighter. Some countries are really ahead of us in this, sexism thing, but in some others are still really behind. So, but in my case, for example, I'm the youngest of 4 women. I live in an extremely Catholic family and in a small city, in a small Catholic city. So it was always really present in my life. So. Now I really made this research so I could bring facts and data for you guys. So okay, I brought 5 main ones, and I'll bring the fact and then this conclusion. Okay, so if you guys want to say anything, it's okay during the facts. So the first one is that did you guys know that around 3? Hi.
You can raise your hand if you want to say something. You can use the stickers.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just do like this, or I don't know, make some Yeah.
Cool. Right, that's cool. That's a good idea. So I'll be saying those facts, and if you want to say something about it, just raise your hand. Okay, so the first one is that around 3 to 4 months old, a woman already shows emotional intelligence and empathy. You know, there's no evidence that that's like a biological thing, but the researchers believe that's a sociological influence. So, you know, girls are always, since the very beginning of our lives, we treat women and men, you know, girls and boys in a different way. So women are always told that they're understanding and they're sweet and they're quiet, and boys are active and loud and they don't really mind consequences of things, you know? So we're treated differently since babies. So people always say like, oh, boys are boys. You know, they fall, they get hurt, they fight. It's normal. But, you know, isn't it because that we don't allow girls to play as boys do, you know? So that's the first fact, and my conclusion about it is that the fact that from a very young age, girls are told what they have to be like. And if she's not, she's considered like crazy or difficult or complicated, you know? If you think about it, when a guy is loud, when a guy does something, it's considered normal. But if a woman, for example, says something out of, you know, just say whatever she wants to say, she's considered like a difficult person to deal with, or even crazy, you know? So that's the first fact and conclusion. If anyone would like to say anything, it's okay?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
You're doing great.
So the second fact, another thing that's almost every girl has heard as a kid is that famous, oh, he only bits you because he really likes you. You know, when you're at school and the guy bits you and he kicks you and he's like, oh, don't worry, he likes you. And you know, I heard it a lot. I had this friend that when I was a kid, that this boy at our class was always kicking her and everything. And the teacher was always like, he likes her. That's why he does it. And you know, the conclusion we get from that is that we're setting young women up to end up in situations that compromise what they're worth of, you know. We're giving the wrong idea of love and to like someone, what it really is, you know. If a girl learns that this is love, that if you hurt someone, it means you like them, you love them, you know, she's gonna think that that's what she's worth of, you know. And that's not true. That's not love. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of girls learn. So does anyone want to say anything? Everyone okay?
No, yeah, just keep going. Don't worry.
The third fact is that it's how society links women to being bad at something, you know. When like a car does something wrong, and there's always that man in traffic that say, oh, I bet it's a woman. You know, in Portuguese, tinha que ser mulher.
Yeah.
Right? There's always that guy. And you know, of course, that, oh, you punch like a girl. You throw it like a girl. So that's really common. And what we take from that is that women, we're made believe that women can't do certain things. And that's not true, you know. It only discourages us to do whatever we want, believing that we're not able to do it. Like me, for example, I'm really afraid of driving. My sisters too. They actually do drive, but I don't, because I'm really afraid of it, you know. And there are so many other things like professions, for example. Some professions are for men, and some are for women. So people think they're like being a kindergarten teacher or a babysitter or like a nurse. It's a woman thing. Or being like, you know, a house painter, working with construction or anything is like a men thing. But that's not true. If I want to be a mechanic, I can. It's not something that depends on, you know, my gender for me to do. So, and that's a very bad thing that we're teaching young girls, that they can be certain things or they can do certain things, and that's, you know, very bad. So, anyone want to say anything about this topic? Everyone okay?
Yeah, last TNT Tachi told about something about that, and I tried to find something about like a woman pilot. It was really difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So the next fact is, you know, an extremely shocking fact that it's how society still naturalizes men's uncontrollable desires and blames the woman for that. It's like putting on us responsibility for covering up our bodies and not walking alone, not acting provocatively, you know, instead of solving the actual problem. It's like if a woman dresses, you know, in a dress or a skirt, so that's her fault because the guy can't control himself. I'll let you speak. I'll just finish here. You know, in the conclusion, to me, it's one of the saddest ones because, you know, it really makes us feel guilty for being abused, you know, that, and that's just ridiculous because it's like a double suffering. We suffer twice because it's like first for being harassed or for being abused, you know, and later for this blame that society puts on us. So, and I did some research and I found out that only 35% of rape cases are notified and only 7.5% are taken to the police. And you know, that's so little. It's just nothing, you know, because women are always like afraid. I know a lot of women that when they went to the police to tell they were raped, for example, and police was like, but what were you wearing? Were you alone? Were you drunk? Oh, you were drunk. So what were you expecting? What did you think was going to happen? So they don't bring it up. So they're afraid of being judged, you know? So you wanna speak something? You can say it.
Yeah, the other day I was talking like to a friend on WhatsApp, and he told me something like this. Oh, you know, I'm gonna send you a picture, and it was a woman. Like her bra was a little bit out of the t-shirt, and he told something like, "Oh, this is ridiculous." And then I start asking questions like, you know, it's hot. And most of the time I'm walking on the street and I see men without shirt. And she's not naked, but what is the difference? Oh, because men, they don't care about if someone is looking or not. It's not like a question about their appearance, but a woman is always showing off. Then I told him, you know, I'm not sure. I just think she's comfortable. Maybe she lives close by the place. It was like I don't know. It was a place that was selling fruits. Then I told him maybe she just like went out with the clothes that she was wearing inside her house, and she's not worried if it's like there was a combination, if it was fashion or not. And we also feel like hot. So what is the problem? And then I think this is something that he never thought about it. He told me, I'm sorry, I never thought about it. I never saw in this angle. So when you start asking like, okay, if a woman is drunk, she's not controlling herself. But what if a man is drunk? And and then I'm just starting asking more questions instead of fighting, because I have tried to fight.
Yeah.
And I think it's not for me, it didn't work well. But I think the more we ask questions, the more we make them understand, they think it's better because it's not everybody that is doing this. It's not every man, and most of them are just like us. We were in the same structure. It's not just like, oh, men are just here to punish nowadays, and then that was my experience.
Okay, now, thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's interesting what Patricia said, because I was on something like that with my girlfriend a week ago about why guys could walk without shirt and girls have to, and we were talking about topless and how it's so scandalous for us, and in some places, in some cultures, okay. And it made me remember when there is a advertise. I don't remember exactly which brand made this advertise. That was because the difference between the man's chest and the woman breast is not the nipples, because when they try to hide, they put like stars or something else on the nipples, but it's not the difference. It's the shape. And the guys, the advertise, they do like, they cover like the shape and put a hole on the nipple. And it's also funny because it makes us reflect about why we still with this things. Why is common? Why is it okay? I walk around without shirts, and if a girl does something like that, everybody say, "What? She's a Trump. She's a bitch. She's crazy." And like even in some places where the girls can do topless, the people, it's interesting. I think it's about you get used about that, because when I was living in Australia and some beaches in Sydney, the girls, you're allowed to do topless, and it's normal. I didn't see. I just tourists, just guys without are not used to topless. We'll be like, oh, the girls is not wearing nothing upside, but for the people, if you are used to, it's just okay, just one girl without her top, it's okay, you get used to that. I think in the other things like you have to try to change the way the society thinks to make the real difference. Because, but I think nowadays in Brazil it's changing. I can see when I go out, when I hang out with my friends and I go to bars, I can see table with just girls on the table drinking and have fun. There's kind of things that on my mom time, I can say something like that, when my mom was young. Yeah. If she did something like that, the people will say, what she's doing like that, she's crazy, she should be at home, she should be taking care of their kids, her husband. Bar is not place for women, so like that. But nowadays I think it's changing about like girls about flirt, the girls that approach, that they don't wait for the guy coming and start the first approach. I think it's changing.
Yeah.
And I think we guys, you have the responsibility of change the mind and try to make the other guys change the mind as well and accept it changing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. You know, just before going to the next fact, I just want to say something. Like, for example, when we were talking about topless and stuff, you know, what's the difference between a bikini and a bra? No, none. So, and it's like, if you see a girl in a bikini, you're like, she's wearing a bikini. But if she's wearing a bra, it's like, oh my God, she's wearing a bra. So, you know, that's just...
If you change the fabric, everything's different, like that.
And it's basically the same, you know, it's just some details. But anyway, so the last fact that I brought, related to the first one, it's considering the pressure that it's on women to be and act and speak and dress in a certain way. It's really common for women to suffer from disorders. So I brought some numbers. I'm going to read them to you. So depression and anxiety occur 2 times more in women. And 42% of women suffer from anxiety. That's a very high number, 42% of women. And that's according to World Health Organization. And they say that the main reason is that women are always in like this alert state. We're always worried about everything. Because 1 in every 5 women will be raped in their lifetime. Here in Brazil, for example, a woman is raped every 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And and that even all the, not just rape, but harassment, domestic violence. For example, when it comes to Black women, it's even higher. Like in 10 years, Black women murders were 45% up, and white women murders were down 9.8%. So not just harassment or rape or domestic violence, but they even say maternity is one of the reasons for anxiety. For everyone knows someone that don't know the father, or they actually know, but they're not close. So for example, in Brazil, 5.5 million people don't have the father's name on their birth certificate. So, and that's only the ones that don't have the father's name, because we all know a lot of people that do have his name on the birth certificate, but they don't, have any relationship. So, and it's all in the mother. So maternity is also a cause for anxiety. Like, for example, even in cases where the father helps. If the father, for example, puts the shoes in a wrong way, they switch the foods, the shoes. Sorry, everyone's gonna say like, oh, you're the father, you do everything wrong. You don't even know how to put a diaper on and everything. But if a mother does that, it's like, oh my God, you didn't even know how to put your kid's shoes correctly. So it's always in a different position, because it's expected from the father to do everything wrong because they don't know it, because it's a mother's thing. So it's expected from the mother to do everything right. So if they get one mistake, it's like all on her, It's like if the father doesn't even exist there. So another number is that 90% of those who suffer from eating disorders, like anorexia, are women. And that's a recent number, because it only went up, like, I don't know, last year. Men from 10% of those who suffer from eating disorders, because before that it was like only women, So 90% are women, and we know that, it's just the pressure to have the perfect body. And just wait just a minute, I'll be back.
Yeah, it happens. But it's good to hear those facts, so we can really.
Oh.
Yeah. So perfect.
I'm back. So okay. And the last one is a study made by Deborah L. Oswald from Marquette University. It's a study that shows that hostile sexism from peers, friends, and family members leads to negative body esteem. And the results also imply that it contributes greatly to a woman's physical and mental self-image. So, just to wrap it all up in a conclusion for everything so we can discuss. I brought those facts, and there's a lot more that I didn't bring up because, there's a lot. Just to show that women's self-esteem is damaged day by day situation, things that we live every day and we see every day. And I didn't even bring talk about work or anything because there was already TNT about it, right? So yeah. And you know, I just think that even though now women are changing things, like Francisco said, we are changing things. We realize that right now about our rights and everything, and we are fighting that. And that's amazing. I'm a part of it, you know. But unfortunately, there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot to do. And, you know, in my opinion, you know, of course, there are some countries that are way ahead of us, some that are way behind us. But, you know, that's a fight that's not over until it ends for every woman. You know, if, let's say, in the future, sexism is over in Brazil, you know, if it's over here, but for the rest of the world is not, we have to keep fighting, you know. It's not just about us, it's about every woman. So, in my opinion, education is the most important thing right now. Like what we were saying, you know, questioning, not just hiding and not making them think, you know. We have to question them and make them think so they understand our side too. So, you know, I do understand that educating like old people who have lived all their lives in like in a sexist view and everything, I know that's hard. I tried that. But we can't give up, you know. And most importantly, we have to educate the young people, you know, their future. Soon we won't be here anymore, but they will be here. And if we get them to understand that women are no properties, that we don't have to obey everything. And, you know, we don't have to be everything men want us to be. We have our own opinions and personalities and wills and desires. And, you know, we have different bodies. There's no such thing as a perfect body and a perfect pattern. If we get the young people to understand that, it's just sexism will have no longer space here, you know. So, well, I guess I've said it all. I just really want, oh, I see you guys said something here. I don't know if I can read that. I'm on the app, but I would like to hear a little bit about you. I have some questions later. Does anyone want to say anything before I start with the questions? Okay.
I want to say something that usually I'm not saying some talks, how can we help other women to realize that? Because, you know, I have been seeing like talks about men all the time, and I know we have to make them think, but I have a lot of friends, and I have told in the previous TNT, no, TNT, the previous was mine, that like a lot of women like around my age, 40 or 50, they are not thinking about that, because there was something like women are strong, and it doesn't matter if everything is happening, but we are strong and we are fighting. And I agree partially. I agree, because we are, and everybody has the ability, not only women, but in general, we don't want to play the victim. But on the other hand, I see a lot of women that just like, I don't know the exact term for that, but when you present facts like you have just done, they say, no, it's not true. This is not related to sexism. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to say, how can we talk to these women, like, because they are raising children too. I am raising a son, and I think that I feel more pressure now because I'm raising a son, and I know everybody's telling me all the time, and I have my own pressure to raise a man that is not sexist.
Exactly.
But he is always complaining about the girls, that the girls at his age are just looking at guys who are like in a good shape, and he's thin, So he's always telling me, Mom, you tell me that I need to be like the way I am, and I am kind, and women are not asking for that. I am not going to have a girlfriend. So I think it's about the women, the mothers now.
Yeah, you know, that thing you said about you know, sexism inside females, you know, that's a very common thing. You know, I know a lot of women that are sexist, and you know, that's not really their fault. You know, it's just the sexism society. That's what they learned. Probably her family is a lot sexist. You know, she learned that from her father, from her mother. So we have to, you know, just be patient, you know, and learn that things will change, and it's not like being, I don't know, rude or anything. I don't think that helps. I think bringing facts and, you know, and having making the person question, like, why do you really think that you're not affected by sexism? And, you know, and she'll probably one day realize that she only thinks that because of sexism, you know. So Phil, do you want to say something?
Yeah, the good thing of bringing this topic is that we are spreading this idea. We are sharing our thoughts and opinion about this, and what I can see, we share the same opinion. And we always, when we talk about sexism, we always talk about the women's side. As a man, for example, as Patricia's child, it's I know what it feels like. I was that child. I was that boy that I wasn't like, I kissed the first girl like after I finished college, high school. I was doing the cursinho. I don't know how to say that in English. Yeah, and it was really hard for me because there's a lot of pressure, like to you need to kiss a girl and you need to go out with someone. You need to be in a good shape. You need to drink. You need to do whatever. Like, because of it's funny because we don't see both sides when we talk about this. I understand that it's very important to bring this from women, but we also have some situations, I think, that small situations from men, and especially children, boys, that they suffer and they struggle with this, and they like. I'm not saying that I don't want to be like we are in a therapy or something, okay? But I'm just pointing out that it wasn't an issue for me, but I know it's an issue for a lot of kids.
Yeah, it is. Maybe you think that it wasn't an issue for you, but it may have been, you know, somehow. No, I mean,
yeah, true.
But it probably affected you somehow, you know, because there's this pressure for men to be manly, you know. Oh, you can't cry. You have to be. Oh, you can play with dolls, for example. You can play what it's like to be a father, you know. What is like playing with dolls, you know. It's what fathers should do. So, and so many other things affect men too.
One example, when my son was 12, one day he was at school, and then a friend brought a porno on his cell phone, and all the boys were there watching, and my son was away, and he told me, I don't like this, I think I'm young, and the first name he was called gay, and this was something that I had to transfer him to another school, because he was like, Mom, I can't be there. And okay, he was in a public school before transferring. I went there, I talked to the coordinator, I asked for a meeting with the parents, and the schools told me, you know, we are here, and I know this community, it's not gonna work. I don't think your son is part of, they told something like, your son is not for DG school, so try to find a private school. Yeah, and then he is now in a private school, and it's happening everything the same, because the principal is she's very religious, and everything is happening the same. And he is now in his last year before the high school, and I'm just saying, hang in there. You are going to move next year, but every day, and I have created this atmosphere here for him to talk to me.
Great.
And every day is something about this. Mom, nobody understands me, and I worry about him, and I know that's not always about sexism, but he cannot be the same he is inside my house outside.
That is
and this is and I understand what Philip is saying, and after I become a mother of a man, I could understand men better, and I could understand how this sexism is affecting everybody. It's better for everybody if we stop.
Exactly. You're so right. That is very good that you have this conscience, that you create this this place where he can open up to you and he can talk to you, because a lot of people I didn't have that in my family, so I wish I had, so that's really good.
I didn't as well.
Yeah.
So
does anyone want to say anything before the questions?
Not really. Yeah, I would have a lot of things to tell or share, but I think
we should have a TNT about sexism, how it affects men.
I'm thinking about there's a topic that I would love to talk about, and I have been studying a lot. That's pornography and how it affects people, not just men but women as well. And it's it's getting worse and worse, like addiction and like a drug. It's really something really huge and something that people don't talk about. It's really important.
People, I've read a lot about it, because something that actually happens. I never saw any pornography. I never did. And
me neither.
Yeah. So every time I tell that to people are always like, "What? Why not? What's wrong with you?" And I always felt bad, because I felt that was something wrong with me, because I didn't like seeing that. It didn't feel right, for the woman or everything. But now that I'm old enough to understand, and now that with the internet and everything, I see a lot of doctors and specialists talking about that, and how it affects people, and I totally understand why I never liked it, why I never wanted to watch it. When I read about it, and when I saw discussions and everything about it, because it's really a really bad thing. So if you want to do that, I have some videos to show.
Don't bring X videos for the TNT. Please.
Some videos about how it affects men.
Yeah, I'm studying about I have a tons of TED Talks, YouTube videos talking about that as well. Yeah. Let's bring the questions.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to. I don't know. We don't have that much time. So anyway, but I would like to ask this first question to the guys. If I don't know if all of you want to answer, that's okay. But if anyone doesn't want to, that's okay too. So, did you ever said or did anything, and then you realized that it was sexist? It really happens. I know it happens. It happens to me sometimes. I think something like, oh my God, look at that woman's clothes, and then I realized, oh God, that was so sexist. Just let the girl be and dress whatever she wants, So, did you ever said or did anything and then realize it was sexist? And if so, how did you realize it? Did someone say that to you, or did you just, you know, realize? Or and if what did you change after when you realized it? Did you change anything, or, you know, does anyone wants to start? Okay.
All right. It's a kind of thing that happened to me when I was very young, like 19. Once I was starting to go to the I don't know, boate, nightclub. I don't know how to say that. Okay. So when because similar of Philip said that we have the pressure of you have to kiss as much girls as you can, or something like that. And I remember that one night I saw the one girl drunk, like wasted on the table, like very, very pissed off. And I thought, pretty easy like that, but it was 19. But I didn't do anything because I was very shy. I couldn't not, and the girl was, I think she couldn't do anything as well because she was very, very, very wasted. And after some time, some years, I was thinking how I could think something like that. Someone is easy just because judging the girl and judging that just because she was drunk, she was want something, she was like easy. I mean, I drink her so much because I want some guy that come to me and do whatever he wants. And yeah, things did. But I think a lot of the guys have this idea. If he's seeing girls drink a lot, get high, they think, easy. I mean, gonna.
Yeah. It happens, unfortunately. I mean, I don't drink, but I have friends that drink, and it really happens. If a guy sees a girl drinking, then they think it's like an opportunity, you know. And if you go alone, for example, sometimes I go alone to parties. And the guys also think that's an opportunity. They think, oh, she's alone here because she wants something else, you know. It really sucks. Yeah. So anyone else?
Yeah, I think it happens all the time. It's not usually it happens in our thoughts, at least mine. But it's something that I don't know. It's I don't know how to explain. It's when you say about like a girl is drinking something, it's an opportunity. That's an effect for both sides. When a man's drinking, it's an opportunity for women as well. But I have just thought that as men, we suffer the same. For example, it's totally different about the question, but every time I go to the gym and I go to swimming classes, there are a lot of men. Yeah, they stare at you. You know, it's really like I get really upset.
Now imagine how we feel every day.
Yeah, and that's the same feeling. So when I look at women on the streets, and sometimes you do it, you don't think twice, like you just do it. And then I try, and it's really hard when you see a very pretty woman walking on the streets or something. You just look, it's like really fast. It's like Rogério, Francisco,
no,
like
yeah, it happens to me as well.
And we can tell that from a look, from that look.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're walking or you're on beach or whatever. You look and you think, oh, this body is good. Not good, but it's how can I say that? It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, good. It's sexist. Yeah, sorry.
That's for food. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for people.
Yeah, but that's why, like, a lot of men, they think like women, they're like kind of food, you know.
Yeah, a lot of men. Yeah, exactly.
I think the important thing is when you realize that what you're doing is wrong, you just stop it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the most important thing to do, and then you start to think different about this. And next time will do different. You know, to not do the same thing and to not charge yourself. You know? I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good thing to say. Yeah, exactly.
I want to say my part of this. Like I was always like my talk, my saying was, I prefer to have a man manager because women are competitive. I don't want to be led by women. They are crazy. I have done this a lot. And what I was educated, like I started opening my eyes, and YouTube is really, it was really important for me to learn about what was sexism, and it happened like a few years ago. So the first part of my son's childhood, it was like difficult for him because I wasn't aware of that. And I was repeating the same thing that I was told, because I was like the girl that you said in the beginning. I used to play with men. I loved to run and to do things, and I was always told I was difficult. So yeah, I couldn't get along well with women, and I was also introverted. So it was a mix, really difficult. I wasn't kind, I wasn't caring, I wasn't sweet, and I'm not, but my appearance was always a problem for me because I am short, and people always look at me and say, oh, you are so sweet, and I am not. So what I did was to cut my hair. I had my hair cut short because it was my way to say, listen, I'm not worried about this, and I am strong, and I could see that the changes I had in the streets, in the nightclubs, because Campinas is, I live in Campinas, it's a big city, but the people's minds is still old, like countryside. So you don't see a lot of women with short hair and brunette, like most of them are blonde girls with straight and long hair. And I could, a lot of men just approached me to say, you know, I don't like your hair. I prefer the way it was.
Did I ask you?
Yeah. And something about the guys were saying, and you told, and I totally agree with you. There is a way that you look, and we can tell which look is that. And what is funny, I like to observe things. And what is funny for me is when I'm driving and a man is on the street, he looks at me in front, like from the front, and when I pass, he looks on my back. It's the back of the car. It's not my back. So this is something that I realized, you know, it's automatic. They are not even thinking. It's just like I should look front and I should look back. And the last thing I'm gonna say that is also related to what you said. My son was walking with his father, and his father was staring at a girl. And my son told me later, you know, Mom, I don't like the way my father look at girls because they look like a donuts, the way he look at them. So it's like the way he is now seeing that it's like a food. And he told me, Mom, I like girls, I look at them, but I don't look as they were food because I don't want anyone looking at me this way. So
you should be really proud of him.
It's really difficult to raise a kid like this. Really, it's
really.
Yeah.
Just send him my congratulations.
Yeah.
Say that I don't like him, but I already like him.
Yeah. Let's bring him to talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, girls, now I have a question for you. That's a
How
very
much is him?
What?
How old is your son?
He's 14. He's 14.
Yeah,
Cool.
very nice.
So girls, the first question, do you accept your body exactly the way it is? And if you don't, why do you think you don't? Who wants to start? Okay, Juju.
Yeah, I can start. Now you know what I wanted to say. Yes, because as I'm the oldest here, I guess I can say that position changed with time. When I was younger, the way I used to see myself, it was completely different than the way I see now. And when I was around 40, it was one of utmost importance, you know. Nowadays, my good, I wish I were the way I am when I was 30, in terms of reality, because with aging brings kind of wisdom. So you accept the things. Well, I'm talking about myself, right? There are people at my age that they are not like this. I accept the way it is. So sometimes I look at myself and say, my goodness, I used to be so different. I used to work out a lot, such a beautiful body, taking care of this. Nowadays I see a big belly, right? What the fuck? I don't care.
Big sex belly.
I cannot say the words, can I?
Yeah. Yeah, but no problem. I'm gonna put a beep.
So it changed. It changed. So nowadays I can say that the way I am, I'm very happy with. You know, the hormones, I guess, get down. So you don't care about many things. If your hair is short, is long, if it's beautiful, if it's not beautiful, if you have big belly, if you don't have a big belly, it's all the same. It changes.
What about you?
Well, I'm still not that confident.
Yeah, me neither.
And yeah, I'm better than I was like 20 years ago about my body. And I had some changes, big changes, because I was really slim. And then I had the same disease that Ronaldo has now. That is the reason that he's saying why he's fat. So it affects the metabolism, and I am always like getting weight, and it's hard to lose weight. But I don't know. I think that the thing about my hair was something that was really new. And I remember that, like, as a child, my hair was always short. But after, I don't know, when I was 25, 30, I had this willing to change. But like my boyfriend at the time, that he was always saying, no, if you could, like, if you have your hair so short, it's like a man, and it was like nonsense. But at that time I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I wasn't feeling strong enough to deal with the things. And you know, it seems really ridiculous when I talk about that, and I know that a lot of people think it's ridiculous, but the reaction that I had, like among women as well, like, oh, you are so brave. Then I said, no, it's just a hair, it's gonna grow if I want to. I'm not brave for that. But they think, because like for a lot of women, this is like their strength in their hair. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep my hair short. And my son told me, you know, something that he's listening, like he's hearing. Oh, your hair is short because you are old, and old women have like short hair. I don't know. I have never thought if it was because of my age or not, but yeah, it's this expression, Francisco, that is like Joãozinho, the expression that people told me.
Little John's hair.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like, I don't know how to say pejorative, when you have your short hair.
No, not prejudice. I don't know. Bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bad something.
Negative way.
Yeah, negative way.
Yeah, that people also asked me about my sexuality, if it has changed just because of the hair. And it's really crazy that this is happening in 2018. And I like to dance, and I like the thing that I do sometimes, as you were saying, I go alone to like forró here. And the first day, it was really hard for me to be invited to dance because of the hair and because of how I was feeling, because I was afraid as well. After all the comments, I was like, oh my God, nobody's gonna invite me, and I don't know if I'm gonna be the woman who is gonna invite the man. And then after the first time, the first dance, it just like was not a thing anymore. Not for me, not for everybody. So
oh, that's good. Well, I have one last question. Do we have time? Can I continue? So one last, I actually had a lot more, but you know, let's just get it. So this last question is, did you ever feel bad for being the way you are? Like, for liking things you like, or dressing the way you dress? Like, for example, Patricia, right? She said that you said that you were always like that girl who's not like sweet and delicate and everything. Did you ever feel bad about it? Maybe not now, but when you were a kid, did you ever feel bad for being like that? I don't know, because I for sure do feel bad for some things. Not anymore, because you know, now I have this conscience, but I used to feel really bad for like liking to dress the way I dress. Because you know, my family was always like, oh, this is ridiculous. It's like a man's clothes. Or like, no, I don't know, for my hair, for example, I have a short hair here, and I have a tattoo in my head and here and everything. And my parents were like, that's not, why are you doing that? You know, that at the time, that kind of made me feel guilty, you know. But what about you girls, or guys too?
I cannot say this is a weird question, because it's not. It's a very good question. But it's weird to me, because honestly, I have never felt such a thing. I don't know if it's maybe something in my childhood. But yesterday, while you were speaking, I was thinking about what happened to me yesterday, because I have a very funny guy. He's a friend, and he comes from another country. And I posted something on my Facebook related to one of the singers, Spirit Jam, or that guy, Imagine Dragon, whatever. And I say, it is good. And he wrote me. He sent me a message and said, hey, you are an English teacher. You cannot say bad words. And I say, why can't I? Yes, of course I can. It's part of our life. And then, you know what he said? He started saying lots of bad words, but not because he's aggressive. And then I just said, hey, listen, I am who I am. That's the way I am. So I don't give a shit. I couldn't care less.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know. Never felt. I don't really remember. That's this fact of yesterday that it's kind of pejorative, but it can be an analogy about question. Your turn, Pachi.
Yeah, you know, I have just started studying about the feminine and about something that you started saying. Oh, I don't know when it started, the society the way it is, and I was studying about the Greek goddess, and when I was studying, I thought that the way that I had to be myself was just going and using one power. Like in the way that I saw was women are going to be my enemies, and I am going to be like to try to be like a man. And especially when I'm talking about the corporative environment. So the last job I had before working in like I am doing right now was in a company, and I was like in a department where I had to deal with a lot of men, and if I didn't have an aggressive way, I couldn't be heard. So my personality was a little bit of that, but for example, I don't like to say like bad words, but this is me. And when I was there, men were pressuring me to say. So they were like daring all the time. Oh, just say the F word. Just say and then when I was saying, no, I don't want to say, and I'm not going to say, I was pressured. So I have always like felt this way, that I wasn't part of anything. And most of my, like I don't know, my life, I thought about living abroad because I couldn't adjust like among men or among women. I couldn't adjust. And when I had the opportunity to stay in Canada for 30 days, I felt the difference. Like I could walk and nobody was calling me hot or nothing on the street. And at the same time, I was listening to some women say, oh, I don't like being here because nobody's watching, nobody's paying attention, nobody's saying compliments all the time. And for me, it was really good. I am also introverted, and among women, sometimes this is hard for me because I was like people were sometimes expect that Brazilians are always like talkative, and I am the kind of person that walks in the room and I am always like paying attention, and I start talking when I feel comfortable. So like that's now it's difficult for me to say how it would be if I wasn't challenged all the time to be different. Like what the result in my life is that I am now 40 years old, and now that I'm starting to discover who I am, because I wasn't myself before.
Does anyone want to say anything? Just to
Hold 40.
I think Rogério told something. I think Rogério or Francisco, I don't know, about the pink t-shirt or something.
Oh yeah.
Every time if you wear a pink shirt or whatever is pink, people, oh, you're gay.
You're gay, always.
Yeah, even if it's just a joke. Most of the time it's just a joke. But if you're gay, what's the problem? What's the issue?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no problem in being gay.
Because blue is for boys and pink for girls.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
So about education, we heard it all the time, you know.
Since as a child, we heard that a lot, and that's wrong. You know, like my mom always made me to do the dishes, do some laundry, and I think that's great. You know, that's actually great. And then some friends of mine make fun about it. So, oh, are you gonna do the dishes? And I'm going to do. What's the problem? You know, that's crazy.
Yeah, you're the right one in this.
One more interesting thing about when guys do housework, they used to say, I'm helping at home. You're not helping.
Yeah, you're not helping.
As well.
Yeah.
You have to do it as well. You're not helping anyone.
Or like,
and my mom, she teaches me as well, and me and my sister to cook, to wash my clothes, to wash the dishes and do everything. And nowadays, I mean, living with my girlfriend here in Victoria, and who cooks here is me. I am the guy in charge of the food.
You're gay.
Grocery and everything like that. It's not as girl things or woman's things. It's
o mão da porra.
I really like that, and we share the housework. I used to cook, and she wash the dishes, and you do it well. It's okay.
Yeah, and it's great, you know, for the relationship. You know, sometimes I get home and my boyfriend cleaned everything up, or like he did the dishes, or he made he baked some cake or everything, you know, and that's just so good. I love getting home and seeing that, you know.
Yeah, you should marry him, because it's this is a man that, you know, and people tell people. Yeah, Julia.
But this is hard to find here in Brazil, because the way they have been raised. Because I dated someone from Denmark for 7 years. It's completely different. They share everything. They don't have that segregation, you know. I could find here that in Brazil, but my goodness.
Yeah.
That's really good.
One more thing is, if you share a thing, you're gonna be easy for us to stay more time together.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Does anyone want to say anything?
Dear friends, I've got to go.
Yeah,
me too.
Me too. I have
let's just say thank you, everyone. That was really good. That was better than I expected. I was actually kind of afraid how that would be, but it was great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was really, really nice.
Exactly. It was awesome. And I'm so glad that I could have participated. My student came on, so I want to.
Yeah, Monique and Juju, you are like, I'm in love with you two, because you have been with me since the beginning, and you all know how hard it is to make this happen. And Francisco, Rogério, Paty, thanks a lot for coming, for joining. I really appreciate that, because it's not easy to reach the 50th TNT. It's not easy. We started back in October 2016, the first one, and there I met Monique for the first time. So she's a very good close friend now, because of the Tuesday night talks. So that's the point. We are not here to speak English. We are here to create a community, to create a group, to discuss, to think about issues, good, bad things, and to get connected by English. So that's the point, and I'm really proud to have you all here. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry. Yeah.
See you soon. Bye.
See you next Tuesday. Okay. Bye bye. See you.